Dregs One. Welcome back to another episode of the History of the Bay podcast, sponsored by the good people of Amoeba Music San Francisco. Also got to give a big shout out to our other sponsor, Dying Breed of San Francisco. Lace me some of this gear. You could also get your graffiti supplies from them. Also got to shout out my folks, SNS Worldwide, always keeping me laced. Behind the lens today, we got King Ced. On the boards, we got DEO. We got Alex Aquino in the cut, chilling with us today. And our guest, the legendary, hold on, I need to give a full, actual, factual introduction in case they don't know. They've been living under a rock. This next guest is someone who is considered a DJ pioneer, a turntable pioneer, somebody who changed the whole game. He's known as being a member of the Invisibl Skratch Piklz. Also changed the game with his movie/album, Wave Twisters. He's one of the illest to ever pick up some wax. The one and only DJ Q-Bert.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man?
A whole lot.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, bro.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I'm very glad that you joined us.
Man, thank you. Lots of blessings.
Yes, brother. So, you know, you've been a big part of my hip-hop journey as one of the first artists from San Francisco I discovered. Like, have you heard of this dude, Qbert? Nah, check it out. Oh, shit. Like, this is coming out of my backyard? Damn, that's crazy. So this is big to come full circle and be having this conversation with you. But for those who don't know, tell everybody where it all began and where you grew up.
Excelsior District, Frisco. Just doing it for fun, you know, seeing the culture and hearing the scratching on the records and all the b-boys breaking and all that, the music. And it was just like, it pretty much just started right around there, 85. And just touching vinyl for the first time. I mean, scratching it. My whole life was vinyl because we didn't have CDs or MP3s or whatever. But when I was about 15, 1985, and my friend was like, yo, check it out. Look at this. I was like, whoa, that's how to scratch a record. Because previously, right before that, my friend was like, hey, I know how to scratch. And I was like, ooh, cool, come to my house. I want to see how you do the scratch. And he grabbed the needle and rubbed the needle across the record. I was like, I don't think that's cool. And then my friends showed me how to do it. And then that's when it started. You brought me back to
hell yeah.
Flash me all the way back. So I'm like, wait a minute. I was about to go on a rant.
Well, I think you're the first guest we've had that's coming from the Excelsior, one of my favorite neighborhoods in the city. What was that neighborhood like growing up?
Ooh, it was definitely not gentrified at that time. It was just everything. Yeah. It was everything. All the music you wanted to hear from the hood. It was real pure hip hop at that time, and it's very hard to find it too. You had to like go to KPOO and it would be like staticky, and then had like sometimes it real like staticky is K-Day from LA.
Really?
Yeah, it
all
was
the way
radio.
from LA.
Yeah, sometimes you would get like a real low signal, and I don't know how I got it. We had no internet back then, but we would try to hear it, and you could hear like a bubble, real from LA or something. I don't know how it got there. Maybe it could have been a pirate radio station that was supplying it, but I don't know how that signal got all the way up to Frisco.
Yeah. A lot of the people I've interviewed, their beginnings of hip hop also go back to like breakdancing and strutting and graffiti, all the elements, as they say. Were those big influences on you too?
Oh yes, of course. A lot of graffiti, and it was always if I go to Pier 39, you see the poppers.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Media circus, they were called Demons of the Mind.
Yeah.
Yes, back then. Mm-hmm. And to see that and the music, I was like, where are they getting this music from? The Kraftwerk stuff. And when I finally got that Numbers album, and I was like, oh, these are the guys. But it was just some outer space music that was like, God, it's almost like you can't really find that anymore. Like nowadays, it's like, okay, I heard that. Oh, I heard that. I heard this. But back then, it was like, what the hell was that? Like, what?
Yeah.
And they were popping, dancing to it. It was like a whole different, how you call it, alien species that came to Earth and just showed us this is what hip-hop is at that time.
And were you getting into tagging and stuff too?
Yes, all the graffiti was everywhere. It was like, it was part of hip-hop. Mm-hmm. And so I remember we had in high school, somebody brought a book from New York, like this is what hip hop is, and I was like, oh, this is what hip hop is, and you turn the pages and you see the fat laces, the people wearing fat laces, and the graffiti was in the background. You see the break dancers, and of course, the music is attached to all that and the rapping, and it was like, okay, so then the first seed that was planted in my head was all these 4 elements was hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this: what was the first Bay Area hip hop that you heard?
I would say, we had to start with the music, and then it was Rapper's Light came out in 78, but it wasn't Bay Area, but was it 79 or 78? One of those.
Something like that.
And then after that, I guess, like I said, going to the wharf and seeing those strutters.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't called poppers, they were just strutters, and they were doing like what King Tuts and they had the shiny, what do you call the hats on with the shiny
rhinestone hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that was my first hip hop. And the breaking, of course, they were at school. The kids would battle each other after school, and they would break dance in the hallway with no music. Because you can't bring a boombox to school or whatever. They would just break dance, and everybody, ooh, check him out. And then another guy from a different high school, oh, he got him. And another guy would come up, and if he was from our school, he would have to win. But then it was biased, but in my mind, I was like, oh, that other guy from the other school was better. That was my first hip hop. And then we would have like, oh, it's a free day. You could bring your own music. And then my stupid ass, I brought it was Christmas or whatever, and I had brought some Christmas music. Whatever,
Alvin and the Chipmunks or something like that.
Stupid ass. And then my friend, man, fuck that shit. He took that off and played some, and they started battling. And so that was my first loss at a DJ battle.
You mentioned like your friend messing with the turntable, trying to scratch. What's the first actual piece of scratching that you heard?
First one would be probably Buffalo Gals, and then when Egyptian Lover said, "What is a DJ if you can't scratch?" And then you can hear a little scratching on there.
Yeah.
And then Rocket from Herbie Hancock. That was iconic, and we didn't even know that it was a turntable even before that. It was like, how's he making that sound?
Different sound, yeah.
It was on Saturday Night Live, and he was doing something, but then it was like, we couldn't figure it out. Like it was so over our heads that we didn't even see that he was touching a turntable.
Yeah.
It was just like, he's touching nothing. We didn't know how he was making that sound.
Well, you're known as a turntablist, but for your entry into DJing, was it party rocking or like doing dances and stuff like that before you really started experimenting with scratching?
It was straight up scratching. Straight up
scratching.
Like hardcore, like know how to mix nothing, just playing b-boy records or breaking records or whatever, electro type music.
Were there any DJs around your neighborhood, around the city that like kind of brought you into the game and helped you lace your boots?
Not really. I mean, there was, but it was. I didn't get to meet them yet. I got to once again. My whole life is a loss of DJ battles. I just lost every DJ battle, but I would learn something from every one, so it was always good. So I went to this one show. My friend was like, "You got to meet this guy, Mixmaster Mike," and I was like, "Man, who the hell is this guy?" And I was like, because I already knew how to like do a little scratch. And so Mixmaster Mike goes, "Go ahead, do something." And I went, and he goes, "Let me try that." He got up there and he was like 6 months ahead of me, so he's like, like real rhythmic, and I was like, "Oh my God!" He tore me up. And he goes, "Go ahead, play some music right now. I'm gonna go get some food at the party." And then so he had the whole setup was there, and he went in line to get some food, and then I was trying to mix. I didn't know how to mix, and then he got up there after, and he was laughing. He started mixing. He did the whole party. He just tore me up.
Damn.
But
so he was just advanced out the gate. He was
super advanced. Yeah. It was like, those pool players that they could play pool real good, right. And they could feel like, and then the ball spins around and goes into the hole.
Yeah, just straight technique.
Oh yeah, he was advanced because he knew how to feel it, use the force, and then that's what taught me to like, it's like you got to really use your spirit into it.
Yeah, because this is exciting stuff because you guys are just figuring it out.
Yes.
It hasn't been done yet. There's no blueprint to really follow to exactly what you guys are getting into.
Nowadays they got instructional videos, but back then it was just, you just got to kind of just, the spirit's got to help you with it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I heard you and Mixmaster Mike both went to Balboa.
Actually, middle school is where I met him, but I would look at him and I was like, who's that? And he would look at me like, who's that? And we never met each other, but it was like a high call, like a connection there, like some kind of astronomical whatever connection. And then later in high school, I went to Balboa, and then Mixmaster Mike was in, I think, I forgot. I think he went. Mixmaster Mike was one of those people that was too intelligent for school, and so the schools didn't accept him or whatever because he was always just into music. Of course, you're familiar with that. I seen that. Go watch.
Yeah, the gate program. You were in the gate program too. What? You were in that program also.
You had a poster in the front,
there you go. Were you in the gate program? No. Okay, he didn't make the cut. Okay, the CIA didn't want Alex. Okay, all good. Shout out to Go Watch, man.
At the Westmore, right? At Thornton University.
Who Mixmaster Mike?
Yeah.
He never went to no school.
That's true.
Yeah. So
how long till y'all like became?
So in high school, it was a DJ battle, and then they was like, "Why don't you battle Mixmaster Mike?" And I was like, "Okay." I was a little bit scared. I was like, "Oh shit, here we go again. I'm about to get my ass whooped again." And of course, I did get my ass whooped, but he taught me a lesson too. You got to practice your mixing skills. You can't just be up there scratching and shit. So that's what was a beautiful thing about Mike.
So you guys, he just kind of showed you.
Oh, for years he would be whooping my ass for years, and until he left. He left. He went to Sacramento, and then I was like, man, who the hell am I gonna buy from? Who am I gonna learn from now? And then, so from that, I started imagining shit like, what would Mike be doing? And then that's what developed my own style. I started using my imagination.
Yeah.
And then I started honing my own way. Like, and then when I met him again, I kind of like. Then I had my own style, but it was like we were at least how you call it. Peers now.
Okay.
But I had my own, like, how you call it, branch of the tree.
Yeah. And where did y'all see it going? Like, because you're still not, are you starting to rock parties at this point?
Yes. Now I can rock parties, I can mix. Yes.
Okay. So you're doing what?
I'm talking about a little bit late 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about like dances,
dances,
house
clubs,
parties,
we
clubs.
started doing all kind of high school events, proms, weddings, everything. We had a crew called Lifestyle Productions, and it was a mobile DJ group. We carried the speakers, carry all the records.
Yeah.
It was like moving a house.
Right. And then, I mean, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead or not. You guys start a group called FM20.
Okay, that's later. That's later when I think I was getting like really good, and then DJ Apollo.
Right. Apollo was in that group also.
Oh my God.
Too.
Yeah, later Apollo was like, yo, Q is starting to get good. Mike, why don't we make a crew with him? This is like later. Yeah, I say, was it almost 1990, right?
And when did you meet Apollo for the first time?
Apollo, before I met him, me and Mixmaster Mike were friends, and we would see Apollo, and he would be DJing the biggest shows in the Bay Area. He was almost like the biggest DJ probably in the Bay as far as with hip hop and everything. He was so huge that if you look at the stage, it was a giant, I call graffiti boombox, like big as hell. I don't even know how big that stage was.
It was pretty big. Crayon and Guest did that.
Yeah, Crayon and Guest did this big graffiti piece, and then inside the tape cassette of the boombox, they cut out an area so the DJ could perform inside there. That's how big that boombox was. And me and Mixmaster Mike were like, man, I think we could get that guy. It was just, we were like unknowns, like real, like nobody knew who we were, but we would look at that guy and it was like, that Apollo, dude, we can, I think we might be able to hang with him. And then we finally got to meet him. And then at that high school battle that Mixmaster Mike killed me at, that's where Apollo was like, oh man, this Mixmaster Mike dude is sick. And that's how we all met. And then, so they would hang out. And then later, years after that, I kind of had to get better. And then they were like, yo, let's all make a crew in around 1990.
Was your name always Qbert?
Yes. I had a stupid ass name. Was it DJ Tricks?
Okay. Qbert's a little more, makes a bigger impression. Yeah, DJ Trick is, whew.
Well, yeah.
That would be a bad DJ for a strip club, you know what I'm saying? Right, that's true, actually.
But, yeah, and then my last name started with a Q. And in high school, everyone was like, I did all right. I started getting better. And everyone was like, yo, that DJ Qbert, he's getting cool. And I'm like, no, that's not my name. It's I started changing my name, like whatever, DJ Thrash or some like whatever, some kind of like superhero name. And they're what do you call it, Qbert? And I was like, that's not my name. And it just stuck.
Well, there's an old school video game called Qbert too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then, all right. So Mike, Apollo, and you eventually
became a Shadow of the Prophet. So we had a group called FM20 with the rappers FMD and NIM. I'm sorry, FMD and H2O.
Okay.
And so they put their names together, FM2O, and then we were Shadow of the Prophet. Like we were like, into Public Enemy, so we were like behind the Prophets. So we were the shadow of the Prophet. Alex here was our manager at that time.
How did you guys first meet?
Alex, I remember the first time I met you, Alex, was in Ceremony. And he came up to me and he was like, hey, you're going to do good in the future. I'm like, really? And that's how I first met him. I don't know how the hell you met me. You don't remember that? I remember that, and that stuck to me. It almost gave me, how you call, like a little bit confidence, so thank you. Yeah.
We were just blessed having all those guys around us, you know. Like Q was saying, it was like, get off each other.
Right.
Like, but it was just amazing to see these guys from the early stages.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how it's all coming together. So, all right, Shadows of the Prophet.
Shadow of the Prophet, yeah.
And then you said, before we started rolling, that basically gave DJ Shadow the blessing to...
Shadow, there was a show called the Gavin Convention. It was almost like like a big, what do you call it, convention for MCs and rappers and DJs for hip-hop for the first time in the Bay. Oh, what year was that? Around 1990, 91?
I think 90.
1990. And then DJ Shadow came up to us and said, hey, I got that name, Shadow. I'm like, I think he came out with a record called Shadow, something like that. Some kind of mixtape or something. And I was like, fuck it, he's got to have it because he already came out with it first. So we had to change our name from that point.
Yeah, Shadows of the Prophet, also not as much of a impression as Invisibl Skratch Piklz. Would have been good for like a gospel DJ group, Shadows of the Prophet. Okay, so then FM2O. And then, so that's the three DJs, 2 MCs.
Yes, around 1990, 91.
What was the idea to like, because usually you have one DJ and a rapper or two or however many, but 3 DJs and 2 rappers. What was the concept for creating a band like that?
Apollo and Mixmaster Mike had a routine where they were doing like 2 turntable routines with 2 DJs. So they would scratch it all at the same time. So it was really incredible. They had a Peter Piper routine where they would go peep, 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 pipe, 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 pipe. And you can't do that with one DJ because you have to have like 2 people on a piano type thing.
Yeah.
And so when they did that routine, I was like, damn, that's dope. And how can I get involved with that? And I came in later when Apollo and Mike was like, yo, come in the crew. And I started, on accident, I started drumming the beat. And then Mike jumped on the turntables and started scratching. And all of a sudden, Apollo jumped on the turntables. Hey, motherfucker. And it was like, oh shit, we got a turntable band. So that's when that started.
Is that the first kind of click in your mind of like, using this as an actual instrument?
I mean, it's always been a musical instrument, but to have it as 3 guys using an instrument
to create,
band, yes.
to create one sequence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was like, okay, this is gonna work. And so we was like, okay, we always did like a little bit show when the MCs went on. Then we'd do like, all right, let the DJs do their thing, and then we had a routine with 4 turntables.
Wow.
Yes.
And you guys are recording demos. And did you ever put out an album?
In FM2O, yes. This is an album, but it's real underground. You can find it on, how you call it, a cassette tape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the footage that Spy has.
Oh, yeah.
Third Style Volume 1.
Yes.
Of y'all going to New York.
Wow.
Because major labels were starting to show some interest, right?
We went to New York, and then Crazy Legs from Rocksteady Crew came up to us. He was, I want you guys to be my DJs. And we were starstruck. Oh, shit, Rocksteady Crew. And we became Rocksteady DJs. And so we almost changed our name to Rocksteady DJs. And then the DMC World Championships happened. And for some reason, they said, we're going to experiment to have a team competition. We're like, shit, we do that. We've been doing this team competition. I mean, not competition, but a team as in band. Mm-hmm. And so we accidentally won because we were already ahead of everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that was a new concept to some of the other people.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why you went out to, wasn't there labels too, like talking about signing y'all as well?
I think, didn't Rick Rubin want to do something?
Yeah, we had a demo deal with Deaf American. Rick
Rubin. I never knew what happened. What happened with that? How come
they wanted to sign us, and then they only wanted the DJs.
Oh, yeah, they didn't want the MC, so we felt a little bit bad. So
and so they denied the deal.
They just wanted the scratchers, and we were like,
loyal to the band.
That's pretty solid.
Interesting. Oh, that's what happened, right? Okay.
Okay, so when you guys get back from that trip, what happens to the group? Because there's a change, a transition, right?
Yeah, I think the MCs wanted us to abandon DJing. And they were like, you guys got to pick up a real instrument, like bass, guitar, and drums. And we were like, what the hell? And so we kind of like started a little bit going our own way. And we became Rocksteady DJs, and we did the DMC World Championships. And we're like, this is kind of like maybe our lane a little bit more.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think so. DJ Qbert on the bass guitar. Turntable's a better fit once again. Okay, but then from that group, basically, now we have the beginnings of the Invisibl Skratch Piklz.
Yeah, so once again, Rocksteady DJs, Crazy Legs started hiring all these other people, San Diego, LA, Rocksteady DJs. And we're like, wait a minute, now everybody's a Rocksteady DJ.
So you're in Rocksteady, like you're just part of the crew, not like the DJs.
Yeah, so we had to change our name. And then in the group, we had a big group, DJ Flair, Mixmaster Mike, DJ Disc, Apollo, Shortkut, D-Styles, Yoga Frog. It was a gang of people in the group. And so A-Trak too. And then he didn't come in the group until later. Yeah. But yeah, A-Trak, and then like offshoots like Tomcat and other people. But we were like, we need a name for this group. And then so I think Mixmaster Mike, I think we was high, and we were driving back home from a gig, and Mixmaster Mike goes, what about the Invisibl Piklz? And just for fun. And then we started naming all these names, and that was the funniest one. And so we didn't think of it as a name. And then all of a sudden, Disc called the day after, and said, how about Invisibl Skratch Piklz? And we were like, ooh, that kind of sounds even stupider. So let's use that.
I mean, that name definitely leaves an impression. So, okay. I also wanted to ask, too, just to jump around a little bit, talking about New York, like, what was the reception from the East Coast DJs? Because New York DJs take that shit so seriously as being the starters of hip hop, but they always embraced you.
Yeah, as soon as the hardcore heads, they knew what was up, and they loved it because it was we were paying homage to them. But then there's one show we did with Run DMC where we had a Peter Piper routine, and then they came up to the show and they were, hey, you guys can't do that Peter Piper routine because they're gonna come out with Peter Piper. We're like, fuck, we practiced this shit for to pay homage to you guys, and so they didn't like that.
Yeah.
But the DJ scene, they loved it.
Yeah,
that's the first Source Awards.
The first Source Awards, yeah.
You guys were at the first Source Awards. Wow,
damn. Blew them out just to open up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, do you feel like back then DJing was more embraced as included in hip hop?
I think it was more of a real hip hop scene at that time, and now it's not so like now it's just whatever you see in the media is hip hop, right? Yeah. But the real hip hop is like the underground.
Hell yeah.
Like you don't know about it unless you know.
Hell yeah, I love that shit. That's what we specialize here on the History of the Bay podcast, baby. In the DMC and some of these other battles, what's the other international turntable ITF?
New Music Seminar DJ battle, and then it turned into the ITF battle, which what Alex started doing. Yeah.
Speak on the significance of those events.
There's two battles. Like the DMC World Battle was a 6-minute routine. You got to go off for 6 minutes. You do your best stuff, and then the New Music Seminar battle. It was East Coast style where you go for a minute, the other guy goes for a minute, you go for a minute, and then they go for a minute, and you get judged from there. Mm-hmm. And that was more exciting because you got to pull out something within that 1 minute, real crazy. And and that turned into the ITF battle, or the Superman battle with Clark Kent, DJ Scratch, Richie Rich.
And y'all won quite a few of those battles as solo DJs and as a group.
Yeah, so it was strange because in 1991, I won the USA DMC competition, and I got to go to the Worlds. But I didn't. I took second place there because I didn't practice. That taught me to practice. And then the year after that, they had the band battle. Well, not band battle, but you could use more than one DJ. And so we represented US as Rocksteady DJs, and we won that because we were already been doing that. And then the year after that, Mixmaster Mike went into the New Music Seminar battle, and he won that. And then what else happened after that? And then me and Mixmaster Mike went to do the world battle in the DMC, and we won that again in 93. And then they didn't have a battle in 94, so we kept that title. So we were there for a long time. And then 95, they were like, you guys gotta stop this because we don't none of the competitors want to compete.
Damn.
But they just did it as a joke.
They was treating you like Barry Bonds, like just walk these guys. Just don't even throw them a good pitch. Just walk them.
So we just judged, and then we're like, damn, what are we gonna do? And then so it was like, we got to produce now, make music, and so then we started our production career after that. But we're battling on the turntables in the production.
Right. Like, and then you guys also, well, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead too, but you're one of the first to make scratch records. Or is this a little later down the line?
This was actually for the DMC Worlds. It's like, before that, we also used these records because it was like, damn, how do you get all these sounds fast? Because we didn't have computers where you could have punch points or whatever. And now it's like, how do we get all the sounds back to back? And so we had to manufacture records that got the sounds one after another, because it wasn't records like that.
So you're making these like on a tape or something like that?
Well, you record it onto a tape.
And then send that to get it pressed.
Yeah, it was a big process for us.
And eventually you start like manufacturing these.
And then starting to see like, oh, this is a better formula. Oh, we could put this sound here. And we started like seeing different formulas of how you could use it on the turntables and what would be more user-friendly to battle people with.
Yeah.
And we went through a lot of mistakes and a lot of cool accidents at the same time. And it was like, oh, these are cool, like experiments.
And so is this the beginning of your record label, Dirt Style?
That is a record label that we helped our friend with. All the sounds that we use, they would put it on their record, Dirt Style.
Okay.
Yeah. But we would supply a lot of sounds for them and help them out with ideas.
Yeah, and I know like Dream and Spy.
And they would do the covers.
The artwork.
So they would have to. We went to the New Music Seminar a long time ago, and Crazy Legs was like, "Yo, what kind of hip hop is this when the record covers don't even got graffiti on it?" And we were like, "Oh, we got to have graffiti on all our record covers." Yeah. So it was like, "Okay, let's get all the dopest artists."
Hell yeah. That artwork is dope. I remember looking at that as a kid, like, what the fuck is this?
Spy One, East 3, Dream, TMF, Doug One, Rich One, all dope shit.
Hell yeah. And as you guys are doing battles, you're also doing shows, right? Like, it just sounds like the reputation and the respect for the crew is just getting larger and larger. And is that kind of helping you turn it into like a full-fledged career as an artist? Yeah,
we was making mixtapes and there was a place called Behind the Post Office. Do you remember that?
No.
On Haight Street. And they would sell mixtapes there.
Was it Behind the Post Office on Haight Street?
Why did they call it that, Behind the Post Office?
Because there is a post office right off Haight, yeah.
I think in San Diego, they were actually behind the post office, but they were off. Post office was on Clayton, but it was down the block.
Okay.
Wow. And then, they would have a place where you could sell mixtapes, and we'd give them mixtapes, and you're like, we'll just take one or two. And all of a sudden, let me get a couple more. And then come back, let me get a whole bunch. And later it was like, oh shit, they want a whole stack of them. And Amoeba started picking them up. All these like little record stores, they were like, nah, I'll just listen to it. And then they started getting more as people started figuring it out.
Well, the stuff you're making, like the break records, the mixtapes, not too many other people are doing stuff like this, correct?
At that time, maybe in New York they were, but you can't get a hold of those things. We were just like, once again, using our imagination. Like in hip hop, if like, let's say one of our heroes, Joe Cooley or Cash Money made these, would you buy them? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So it was like, let's just do kind of like if they were making it out here.
Mm-hmm. And at what point too do you decide to go into Wave Twisters? So
Wave Twisters was, once again, it's the same energy of DJ battling. We weren't competing anymore. So we're like, how are we going to compete in this outside of the battles? And that's the same energy. Okay, what if I made an album, every song was a chapter in a movie, and then we made every song was like, it had a cartoon to it, but the illest cartoons would be all these graffiti kind of like things, like Doug One was very prevalent in the Bay, and we would walk around and be like, how come there's no cartoon of that character right there? Like, it's Spaceman. And it's like, all right, let's get Doug to draw some cartoons on this, and let's get an animator. And so I made the music first, which was Wave Twisters, my first album. And then it's kind of a very spiritual thing. Like, the universe kind of put it all together. Like, someone rang the doorbell out of nowhere and said, hey, what's up? Is it Q-Bert live here? Yeah. I'm like, what's up? And he goes, I'm an animator. I need some music for my animations. And I was like, what? I need an animator. And it really came out of nowhere. Like, it's almost how when a student is ready, a teacher will appear type thing. And so that happened. And then so we kind of hooked up, and Sid Guerin is his name, with Eric Henry, and they started animating Doug's art to one of my songs. And then the first song was, I think it was Sneak Attack, where Mixmaster Mike helped make the beat, and I scratched on it. And the whole thing was put together, and he was like, what do you think about it? And I said, let's make a whole movie out of all this. And then so I did the storyline was sort of like kind of...
break down the story of Wave
The story
Wave
is
Twisters.
basically how the industry, the music kind of, it's like right now, the music industry, they don't want us to see hip hop. They just want us to see all this other shit in the media where it controls our minds. But then the real shit is like, you know, the true school B-boy shit. And so that gets hidden and taken away from us. So it was like these aliens in another world that would hide all the dope shit, but just feed you what they want to control you.
And the hero of that story is a dentist, right?
Yeah. The dental commander. It was started because Mixmaster Mike had sent me a track called The Dental Commander. I was like, what the fuck? And then so we was like, all right, let's make something out of this. The dental commander, like, so he's a hero. So there's four characters. There's, you know, representing four elements of hip hop. So the dental commander was a DJ who represented the scratch, and he had a watch, a turntable watch, and it could control like time or whatever. And so that was his character. And there was three other characters too.
There's a giant baby.
That's a bad guy. He's the red worm. The character is really the umbilical cord, which is a worm. And then the worm is controls the baby. It's almost like how you call it when they, what is that movie? Get Out? Or what? Yeah, so they have a spirit inside of a body, and it controls that body. But anyway, he's the bad guy, and he's trying to take away anything arts, you know, because they want it to be like more AI technology. What do you call it? Non-spiritual music to feed everybody. So they would take away anything hip-hop, breaking, graffiti, scratching, rapping, none of that. They want it all to be like computer music. That's
dope. There's a real deep meaning to that. It's trippy as hell. I love watching that shit. What was the response to that when it came? You were doing like film festivals and stuff too?
We did a lot of film. Everybody watching it was like, what the fuck is this? I don't get it.
Really?
Yeah, but I like it. But what the fuck the story means? And then, you know, but if they read it, they'll be like, oh, okay, all right. I still don't get it.
Yeah. Maybe a little ahead of its time.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But did it do well, like the album and everything?
It went to Sundance Film Festivals and many Cannes Film Festival, a lot of film festivals. And I even got to go to, I think there was a New York Film Festival and Grandmaster Flash. You ever see that movie Scratch?
Yeah.
So that went to this one festival and Grandmaster, Grand Wizard.
Grand Wizard Theodore.
Grand Wizard Theodore. Grand Mixer DST, the one that did rocket scratches. He got on stage and was like, I'm a knight DJ Q-Bert to become a Grandmaster. And I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, okay, whatever. But later I was like, whoa, that was a big honor. I didn't even trip off it. But yeah, he came to that one of those screenings.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get involved with Dr. Octagon?
So Dan the Automator was one of the Bay Area DJs, and he would be in the battle scene out here, and he was like, okay, so this Qbert guy, he lives in Frisco too, so I'm gonna have him get on the Dr. Octagon album because I had just won the DMC USA Championships, and that's how it all started. So
Dan the Automator and Kool Keith were already working on this project.
It was already done.
It was already done.
Had to do the little icing on the cake with the scratches.
Oh, okay. And did y'all did you tour together and stuff?
Yeah,
too?
we did a couple shows. And then later, of course, the next Dr. Octagon thing came out. And
what's it like working with Kool Keith?
Kool Keith that's one of the only MCs that can make me laugh. He's hilarious. You know, you like his lyrics?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's so funny.
He talks about like pissing on rappers and, fucking housewives in the booty and... It's like crazy shit. He talks, and it's all random, and the rhyme pattern is all over the place. But it's dope as fuck. If you really know rap, it's like actually advanced.
Yeah,
MC.
And everything. I learned a lot of rhythms from him too, and I incorporate that with my scratches. And he was a popper too.
Okay.
So now I keep telling him like, hey, you gotta pop more. So now you see him popping on stage more. And he's a real b-boy.
Yeah, and that album was pretty big too, right?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the album, I just want to say one thing. On the last album, I did a scratch on one of the songs, and I don't know what happened. Automator accidentally scooted one of the scratches over. You ever have that happen? Like your raps are there, but then it just gets moved over a little bit?
Someone presses a button by accident and just taps the space bar or something.
Yeah, it got moved over, and then it also repeats again correctly on the second verse. I'm like, what? I guess, he was so in a hurry making that, or he didn't like me or something. And he did that.
Fuck you, bro. These scratches are too good. I'm gonna fuck this up a little bit. That's dope.
Automator. He goes, nah, just say it's syncopated. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
How did you get into because your style is not your label?
Nah, that's the homies' label.
Skratchy Seal.
Skratchy Seal, that's the homie.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but you're basically just getting involved with them. Okay. You're getting involved with them to put out records.
Yeah, because I didn't know how to do it, so I let them do the thing, so that's all them.
And now that's basically been like the home for your music too.
No, that's just sound effects type stuff for DJs and Scratch. And we have another record label called Galactic Butthair.
Okay.
Records. Yes.
That's dope.
The more stupider.
I'm noticing a pattern here, yeah.
A little entertainment.
But you've actually gotten into like making technology, right?
Yes.
What kind of...
So like nowadays you see a lot of kids, they'll be in their car, they're scratching like how you call it, this little 45 thing that they call portablism. And so we had started that a long time ago with this turntable called the QFO. It's a company called Vestax.
Yeah.
And then they were like letting me design a bunch of stuff. And I was like, shit, let's make this right here because I want to go on the beach and scratch because I used to see guitarists go on the beach. And I'm like, I can't bring my turntable out there, but I could design something where I could now. And so that was the QFO, which is a turntable and a fader on it at the same time. And so I would plug that in my car and I would go to the beach and scratch.
Dope.
Yeah. Crazy,
man. You've like always stayed in touch with like the DJ community. Always had, you always do shows with people and collaborate with people. What are your thoughts today on the DJ community in the Bay Area?
It depends because it's once again, it's like a tree where it branches off into all these other different things and more. Mm-hmm. And so like for me, I'm heavily into the scratching.
Yeah.
So playing it like a musical instrument. So I look at that all the time, that kind of more category.
Do you feel like there's still, because I feel like there's a lot less kids these days that are into that part of it, the scratching and the turntablism? It
depends. Like for me, like, because my feed is all that. So to me, in my world, it's a gang of people doing it.
Right.
But if you're not really in tune with it, it might not go in your feed. It's just like kind of whatever you click on, it's the algorithm will be like, okay, this guy likes seeing this shit.
Yeah.
So you'll only be fed that.
Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense because now you're seeing people around the world that are doing some of these techniques and some of these styles.
It's almost if you was playing yo-yo and you click on yo-yo shit, all you're going to see is yo-yo guys doing tricks.
That might be kind of tight.
Yeah, right.
Instagram, yo-yos on TikTok.
Yeah.
What is your approach, man, to the discipline of learning this craft? Because you take it so seriously and you've dedicated so much time to it and you've innovated so many styles. Like, what's your approach to that?
So I started getting into scratching and I wanted to keep knowing what's the highest level, what's higher than that. And it got me into like jazz music and classical and all this Indian tabla music. And I was like, okay, what's in outer space? What do they got kind of music over there? And it was like, you start learning about all this stuff from extraterrestrial life and what type of instruments they play and how does it connect to scratching and all that. So I keep on translating that into scratching. So I started learning all this crazy outer space shit. And I don't even know what the question was. I went into outer space.
It's kind of getting there. You're kind of answering it, like your approach to the craft.
Oh, right. So yes, it's that now. It's like, it's more of a connection to God now. It's like, it's the highest is you find out that we're all connected to God anyway. So now you just got to use that. So it's like, oh, it's that simple. We all have a aspect of God flowing through us and you just got to use that and then take that as your advantage because it's going to be different for everybody, a different God branch of the tree.
I like that, man. Amen. Because I feel like no matter what you're doing creatively, it's important to stay grounded in something that's bigger than yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate happiness is to give and the ultimate evil is selfishness. So it's like, okay, well, I like to be happy. So when I give, it makes me happy. And so it's like, I'm going to do all that, the spiritual stuff with the giving. So it's like, oh, that's the secret? That's real simple.
Yeah. Yeah, well, your art is an offering to the world.
Yes.
And it's crazy. You never know how it might affect people. I'm sure you've had people come up to you like, your scratching saved my life. And you're like, what? How did I?
Very, very interesting. Like you could say, like people who got cancer, it cures them. Or like that. And when I learned that, I started talking to shamans. They were like, yeah, when you scratch, you got to scratch. And all at the same time, imagine the energy of healing coming out of you and healing people. So I was like, damn, I didn't even know it was like that too.
Damn.
Yeah.
If I have a kid, I'm going to like play your records while they're in the womb.
They'll come out like a red worm.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put some headphones on the belly and see what happens, man. Do you practice every day?
I got to now. It's like a samurai now. You gotta do it every day. It's like, and because sometimes if I slack off, it goes back a little bit 2-3 days. But when I practice every day, I get rewarded with, oh, okay, you just learned something new. Boom, boom, boom. It's like like if you're gonna get stuck on video games, you'll go to a higher level. Every time it's like, oh, that's the thing. It's like, oh, wait a minute, life is a video game. And so it's like I translated that bad habit of video games into this is now my game. And it's beautiful.
I like that, man. I have a lot of friends who've like struggled with addiction and other destructive habits. And I just be saying sometimes like, bro, just find your thing.
Yeah.
Find your thing to replace that with. Because if you approach something that you love, whatever it is, it could be collecting stamps.
Yes.
It could be making beats. It could be basketball. It could be cars. If you put that type of energy into it, you'll get so much out of it.
Yeah, it's just bringing heaven to earth. Like if you collect stamps, at least show it to people. Like you look at my stamp collection on Instagram, it's gonna be like heaven on earth. Somebody's gonna be like, oh, that's kind of.
Somebody's gonna fuck with it, yeah.
And I'll be like, look at these stamps.
Hell yeah. And when in our conversation, I hear a lot of like you challenging yourself and trying to constantly get better. What's like when you were first starting out, like how many hours a day were you just cutting shit up?
Well, it's high. What is it? The 10,000 hour thing?
Mm-hmm.
The more you do it. But at the same time, it's like if you're having fun, it don't mean the time just goes by. So it don't matter. So if you find that thing that you love to do, just do it. The 10,000 hours is going to go by quick anyway.
Is this something that you could just literally spend all day doing?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But then the to the level I'm at right now, you could hurt yourself, so you got to be gentle too. So you got, all right, this guy's saying you got to do gentle stretches now.
Yeah.
So it's like all this other stuff you got to incorporate.
Do you feel like wrists, any effects on your wrists or anything at this point?
If I overdo it, yes. So now it's at a level where it's like, well, you could do all that for a while, and then you got to do like the soft stuff. So this is all these levels now at the point where I'm at is so many categories to cover as you're practicing. So someone, I read this one thing. It was like this person, they don't even practice no more. They just play now. So it's like I'm at the point where I could just play with all the toys.
Yeah.
But I just, the more I do it, the more sharper it gets and the more cleaner. It's almost like calligraphy, right? It is graffiti. But now it's like the more you do it, the more you could make your lines like, you could draw them better.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, in most of my interviews, I talk to artists who are older than me and people who've been doing it longer than me. And so many of them I find are like still driven to do this. Like a lot of graffiti writers that are still trying to get better. Like you could be a master at this and do all types of amazing things with a spray can, but there's still so many more techniques.
It is. It's like whatever you could imagine. It's like, okay, like if I meditate or real quick, if I just close my eyes and think about how music would sound like scratches, like how God would do it, it's like, man, I got a lot of work still. Yeah,
for real. Do you have any specific goals in sight that you're trying to do musically or with your performance or with some DJ technology, anything else that you see like that you have your eyes on?
I mean, my roots is like making music and making like with the Wave Twisters movie, like I want to do a part 2 of that and maybe like even take it to the next level, like make it in 3D or some kind of immersive whatever, using all the AI technology for good, in that sense.
Man, Wave Twisters in VR?
All that. I mean, there's so many things you could be even crazier than that.
Sick, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like the Wave Twisters live experience.
Yeah, you could wear that bodysuit where you get kicked in the nuts.
Yeah, I could see it happening, man. Alex, am I missing anything? Any crazy stories or anything else that we should cover, man? Because I'm asking you, because this is the real... People call me a historian. This is like living history right here. Alex Aquino.
And honestly, I mean, I think Q touched base on a lot of things. And this is just an honor just listening to you guys. And you have so much knowledge yourself.
Thank you, bro.
It's just great that get all this answers. I think the history of like the Apollo and Q and Shortkut and all those guys.
Oh yeah,
There's a new
Shortkut.
album
Shout out
coming
to
out.
Shortkut.
Now that you said that.
Yeah.
New Invisibl Skratch Piklz coming out.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, me, Shortkut, and D-Styles.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, try to get Mixmaster Mike on it too.
hell yeah. You guys have kept it rolling. At one point, there was a breakup, correct? Like an official,
a little bit. Yeah, it was like, okay.
You did a last final show
We
at some
always
point.
break up and do some like.
But I think maybe that was in Skratch, right? Wasn't it like the final show of the Skratch
we always say
Piklz?
that. You know, how Too Short is like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like he come out every couple.
Yeah.
But it's we can't get away from each other. We have to. There's no way to do a turntable band. We could do it by ourselves, but it's not right. Like it's the other personalities add to the mix.
Hell yeah.
What I love about the crew, what was Mike doing? And then they battle each other in their own timeline, away from each other.
Right.
And I think that what enhances the group. They always beat off each other.
Yeah, I
Which
bet.
I love about like Mike doing the Beastie Boy thing.
Mm-hmm.
That inspired the guys to do everything else and vice versa. And what Q does, everything's out Q. And so it's kind of cool to like see it from the outside in, to like see them feed off each other. And through decades of being a crew and still doing separate things, you still see the inspiration.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
like you
So-
mentioned, there's so many branches.
Yes.
And your crew, there's all the different members have gone on to do so many things. Actually, I did want to ask, how did A-Trak get down with the crew? Because he's not even he's Canadian, right?
Yeah, so me and Yoga Frog went to Canada to judge one of the DJ battles. And A-Trak went on, he won the competition. We're like, yo, this kid is kind
He's
of
like super young,
15
right?
years old. And we're like, yo, he's going to get really good. Let's put him in the crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could, what do you call it? I guess help him out and stuff. And he didn't need no help, really.
Yeah, he's gone on to do some big things.
Wow,
man.
amazing, yeah.
Well, this is man. This is a treat for me, bro. Just like I said, my hip hop journey begins with Skratch, with the Skratch Piklz.
What?
Hell yeah,
I
man.
didn't know that.
The first day, I've told this story in other interviews, but the day I decided to do graffiti, my boy Mike Ill was like, I'm coming too. And then I went to his house. We were tagging on the way.
Yes.
And then he had Technic 1200s. He had hella wax. He had the turkey cuts and all the records. And then I was like, what the fuck? And he was scratching. And he's like, have you seen this? And he pulls out Skratch. And I'm like, nah. He's like, check it out. It's San Francisco. Qbert. Just do Qbert.
There's a lot of graffiti in there too, in the cutscenes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where there was a DJ club at APG Unity Middle School where I went to middle school, and they're in that in that documentary too.
You went there?
Yeah.
I never knew anyone that went to that school. Wow. That's dope.
Hell yeah, man. So that was important for me to be like, damn, there's all this shit. There's graffiti, there's DJing, there's all this stuff happening here in San Francisco. Like, I gotta be part of this. So, long story short, full circle to have this conversation with you and get to talk to you about all these moments and pick your brain is a real treat, man.
Man, thank you. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Any other shout outs or anything you want to give?
Yeah, just go on djqbert.com. We're coming out with these faders. Speaking of constantly practicing, I even carry around these practice faders. We just got a gang of these. Shouts to Jesse Dean. These are going to come on the djqbert.com site. Also, we make beats too. We have we come out with these beat packs. Not beat packs, but actual breaks for DJs to cut to and MCs to use too, or B-boys to dance to. Whatever, background music for graffiti. Every almost week, we have a new break record. And it has 6-7 tracks on it. It's all there's electro on it. There's B-boy shit on it. They got funk on it. It's all different categories to scratch on. And so that's on djqbert.com. They're called the Unreleased Dirt Style Records.
Awesome.
Yeah.
djqbert.com.
Yes. And then also we got the Invisibl Skratch Piklz album about to come out, and a lot of vinyl, a lot of scratch records.
I love it.
A lot of Skratchy Seals coming out. Skratchy Seal 9 is about to come out. A lot of stuff, a lot of weird kind of experimental stuff that we let Skratchy Seal come out with.
I look forward to checking it out, man. Don't ever stop. Don't ever quit.
Free.
Come on. Thank you, bro. That's love right there, bro. Don't ever stop, DJ Qbert, man. Shout out to the Invisibl Skratch Piklz, Alex Aquino, a legend himself. I got to do an interview with you one day, too, man.
Let's do it, for sure.
Shout out to the whole team. Shout out to everybody watching. Frisco, the whole Bay Area. Much love. Dregs One History of the Bay podcast with DJ Q-Bert. We out of here, y'all. Peace. Bitch.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.